Good morning. Welcome to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac, president of Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston, president and CEO of the Roby family of companies. We are your hosts. Trent, we got a big show today. We have Sean Hogan from Roby Electric. We're going to talk about LED lighting, what to do around the house now that it's getting dark early. We might talk a little about generators.
Yep.
And I have a surprise for you on the fourth segment. Now, it's not really a surprise, but we're going to give a little recap of the NARI Contractor of the Year Awards.
A couple of weeks ago, our surprise was somebody might be running for mayor next year.
We got a new president.
I'll tell you this. Woo! Man.
What is that? A lot of people were surprised.
Hey, I'm not going to let you know my political stance, but it was a complete surprise.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think everybody was surprised. I mean, most of the
both
polls,
sides. I think Trump was surprised.
You think he was? I think Hillary was very surprised.
I think Hillary was, yes.
Yeah.
Hillary, Tuesday was probably not a good day for Hillary.
So we have a new president. President Obama is now the lame duck.
Is that what they call? That's what that means?
I think so.
That's the time between
when there's a president
gets
elect.
voted. Okay.
We're going to go with it, okay? So we got a lot going on in the country and obviously a lot going on in the industry.
I will tell you, it was the surprise for America was amazing. That just what the power of people can do and how our country was set up. Whether you guy or lady won or lost, that doesn't have it. But it's just, hey, you know, you start to think everything's already predetermined. And then something like that happens and blows your socks off. So, hey, man, it's proof you got to keep fighting. You never know. You can't, relative to us and how I think about it, like spending time with your friends and your family and then being in business, you got to keep fighting, man. I mean, there's always somebody coming around the corner. Can't get comfortable.
It wasn't a landslide. Yeah, I mean, really, every vote counted. I mean, it came down to being that close. And I thought President-elect Trump, I thought his speech was great. I mean, he talked about bringing people together. We got to come together. This is a very divisive election, and so now I think it's time. Okay, what's done is done.
And Hillary did the same thing.
Hillary
she
did
said
the same
she's
thing.
for the Team USA, and I that was impressive. But yeah, I was always the guy asking people when they said Trump was a loose cannon. I said, well, maybe he has to be a loose cannon to get the votes and the shocking all people,
right?
And maybe he will calm down once he gets if he were ever to get in office, which I did not think was going to happen at all.
No, we've talked about that a couple times.
And he did step one of probably 10 million steps he has to do, but step one did pretty good, and Hillary did pretty good with it. And we need unity. We need the patriarchs of the U.S., the Clintons and those families to join forces with the leadership at all times and carry us forward.
I'll tell you one thing, man. They have got to be two tired puppies after this election cycle. But I'm telling you, I mean, that would be, think about that. I mean, you don't get a break. I mean, it's nonstop, 3 or 4, 5, 6 times a day.
It must be addictive, though, because
people
don't ever quit that much.
They don't.
They keep plugging. I mean, talking about some adrenaline. Goodness gracious.
Oh, you're right. Well, let's go ahead.
I have no interest in being a politician, by the way.
I was getting ready to see if you were going to. I thought maybe you were going to run for mayor
against
Kenny Smith.
I got a lot of buddies that vendors over the years, and I was pretty young and blazing trails, and they all said, "You going to be the mayor? You going to do this?" No, I really don't, and I really don't even like talking about my politics. I'll tell you, I have my 3 girls I take to school, and it's amazing. It's kind of hurts me to hear them talk about who their friends at school are voting for and why, and I just don't think. I really, number one, am old school. I think your political views stay at home. Okay, number one. And number two, kids shouldn't be elementary school kids, I don't think should be heck or high water on a political view. I told my kids, I said, look, that's something we keep private. You know what? If you talk about it, you might hurt somebody else. It's the golden rule, right? You might hurt somebody else. You don't know what's going to offend somebody, and it's something we keep sacred in our household.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, I mean the schools are all about the mock elections and things like that. I know what you're talking about. Well, let's talk about our show today. We're going to talk a little bit about. Obviously, we said this earlier in the segment, but we're going to talk about things to do around your house electrically at this time of year. What are some important things? And I think lighting is really going to be one we're going to harp on quite a bit, just because you get home now it's dark.
Well, I can't wait to get Sean in the room because he always learns something. I'm able to pick his brain.
Right.
I'm like the bad customer, right? I pick his brain and don't give him any work. Make no money off that guy. He just wastes our time and asks questions. But I would like to learn from Sean. I've been wondering about what the technology and the light bulbs has come, and people talk about LED, and you got these vogue trend words that people say. I hope Sean knows a little bit about that and can educate me and the Charlotte public.
I think he does. I mean, Sean has that design aspect too. He has a real knack for setting things up and laying things out from a lighting perspective, which makes a huge difference. I mean, if your lighting layout is poor, it's obviously you're not gonna have the results you're looking for. So Sean has that design aspect that he brings to the table, plus the knowledge. I mean, he's been dealing with landscape lighting and general lighting for most of his professional career.
Yeah, he came.
Right.
We met him in Charlotte
Correct.
from a solely landscape
Correct.
lighting business, correct?
That's right. So Sean will be on the show. We're going to have 2 segments. I think it's always a good time to remind folks, if you missed, Trent brought up the show a few weeks ago, go check out our podcast at WBT.com. Hit our Facebook page, and we'll have Sean in here on the next segment.
I'm going to give a shout-out to my buddy and my neighbor that used to live on my street. He moved away. Justin Williamson, I was hanging out with him last week, and somebody I never thought would listen to our podcast. And he's like, I picked up 4 or 5 of them. And I'm like, you listen to our podcast? He's like, yeah, man, I had to hear you drop some business knowledge. I hear you drop river rat knowledge occasionally. So thank you, sir. If more people can listen, it'd be great. When we return, we'll have Sean Hogan from Roby Electric. We'll be right back.